Hello and welcome to the newest episode of the Blue Corner. I'm Mike, as always, one half of the Unknown Experts, Long Island's first ever MMA podcast. So let's hit you with the news of the day, or at least the last 24 hours. First and foremost, we have Khabib's cousin Omar. I'm gonna butcher his name. I can't believe I still haven't learned how to pronounce it properly. Nurmagomedov. I'm supposed to be an expert. I can't even pronounce his fucking last name. It's just ridiculous. Bear with me, people. I got a fucking wisdom tooth coming in. Apparently, it's not so much wisdom, it's just tooth, though. Anyhow, Omar, Khabib's little cousin, appears to be signing with the PFL, who just had a litany of investors, including comedian Kevin Hart and motivational speaker Tony Robbins, who just dumped about 20 mil into that company in their series format. I like it because they seem to be pretty based out of Uniondale, Nassau County, in the new Nassau Coliseum. But he's going to be fighting for the PFL at just 22 years old with a 7-0 record. I have yet to see him fight. I need to check that out to see if he's more or less impressive than his cousin. The late great Kevin Randleman, a Pride FC legend, if you know him, and a one-time UFC heavyweight champion. And till the day he died, he probably argued the fact that he had won that fight against Bas Rutten and would have denied Bas's only UFC heavyweight title, a fight that Bas won by being defensive off his back the entire match and cutting up Kevin with elbows. Probably the only time anyone has ever won a title fight in MMA that way in a main organization. But the late great Randleman would have been 47 a couple days ago, so rest in peace, champ. Truly a remarkable specimen, even with the Mexican supplements that he clearly took, and had survived many horrible staph infections where he had a hole in his bicep the size of a Kennedy $50. TJ versus Cejudo appears to be nearly booked. The super fight between the bantamweight champ and the flyweight champ being targeted as a flyweight match. So TJ will be going down. He said he's made the weight before, and he'll be vying to become the third double champion. And like I've said before, once Conor did it, and even more so when DC did it, I told you that watch, it's going to happen a third time. Someone else, at least one more person in the next calendar year, is going to get a double championship slack, if you know what I'm saying, rocking two belts. TJ's got the tools. Cejudo managed to out-wrestle a injured DJ to beat the seemingly unbeatable flyweight, but I think TJ is going to come in there. Honestly, we all know it's flyweight, but he's going to be about $145 at least when they're in the cage. Cejudo is probably going to be about like a bantamweight, but even though the fights at flyweight are weight cutting and the sport is so ridiculous, we know what's really going on. But they've already faced off on a taping of Extra, that show hosted by Mario AC Slater Lopez, man. Fucking AC Slater, don't fuck with him. TJ goofed professional boxer Gervonta Davis, who had said on Twitter he wanted to fight the guy that beat Cody. And that's in quotes. So TJ photoshopped a picture of the head kick. I believe it was one he landed on either Joe Soto or Renan Barão, and photoshopped it in with a picture of Davis with his boxing gloves inside the cage, eating the brunt of the kick. In more interesting news, we got Andrea Lee, the up-and-coming fighter who's got a really good jiu-jitsu game. She's back in the news a couple months back. Her husband slash coach was the topic of conversation because of his Nazi tattoos on his arms that he hasn't covered up. Not that it's anyone's fucking business, but he said that, look, it's part of his history, his life story. Why hide something when others can learn from it, etc. I don't really give a shit if the guy is a Nazi or not. I mean, why does it really matter if he is? Well, then ladies, get out there and beat up his woman in the cage. But do it quickly, because apparently he's trying to beat you to it. Because the headline is that a friend was staying with the couple, Andrea Lee and her, I'm not even going to bother to tell you his name, because he sounds like a real scumbag, based on this. But a fellow fighter, the Crazen, playing words crazy in Asian, Andy Nguyen, was staying with them, saying he feared for her life. It was the night of the fight. DJ lost to Cejudo. Apparently, he woke up to hear them arguing, saying that DJ got robbed. Somehow that escalated to her running into her daughter's room and her husband trying to run after her and put a cigarette out on her arm. He kept trying to run after her. She ran out of the house sprinting. The husband took after her. At this point, I'll let you know that he has done time in prison where he got the said Nazi tattoos for manslaughter, so he has killed somebody. The charges were knocked down. I don't remember the specifics. I believe it was in Poland, so there was some sort of technicality where he was able to get off with only about 8 to 10 years, I think. But nevertheless, he's chasing her down the block, and he comes back, and he tells the guy, Andy, who was just about to run out the door to try to help, that, oh, I did it again. I can't believe I did it again. And this poor fucking Andy's thinking, did he just fucking kill Andrea Lee? I mean, because he killed somebody before. Is that what he's saying? Like he could have, his words were, quote, he could have he picked up a rock and smashed on her head. But apparently that's not what happened. Apparently it was just more of a spat. Cop showed up. It was filed as domestic disturbance. And the charges are false imprisonment, domestic abuse, and battery. So we'll see what happens next for the promising female fighter, and if she changes camps or if this was just a lover's quarrel. I know everyone's going to think that's a fucked up way of putting it, but it's just my experience in my love life. But nevertheless, ticket prices came out for Conor versus Khabib. Shocker, shocker, shocker. The cheap seats, nosebleeds in Vegas, are about $205 a pop. And that's just the listed price, so we're probably talking about $220, $230. UFC has cut ties with two veteran fighters, Gleison Tebow and Tom Lawler. Tebow has had offers from Ryzen Fighting Federation. 2 weeks ago, they wanted him to fight Takanori Gomi on 2 weeks' notice, as well as hearing other offers from that shady Russian org, ACB, where some oligarch runs it. You've probably seen him photographed with Fabricio Werdum over there. Plus a couple of other unknown orgs that we can't pull up the names quite yet because we have no idea which ones he's referring to, but apparently there's some org in Abu Dhabi who's interested. There's another org in Russia that's interested that isn't ACB, but some other one. And there's also rumblings that Bellator might take a stab at picking him up. Tebow has lost his last 4. He tested hot for EPO, blood doping stuff that cyclists use. It really helps the cardio, unless you're Ali Blagodarov, when he fought DJ, and it did no fucking help whatsoever, and he got cardioed out. But his biggest wins are pretty remarkable. He beat Jeremy Little Heathen Stevens and Rafael Dos Anjos. Yeah, it was both before either one of them hit their stride or their prime, but he still got the wins. Lawler, on the other hand, Tom Lawler, the other guy cutting this, he was just 2 months shy of coming off of his suspension for PEDs. His biggest wins are probably CB Dalloway and Patrick Cote. They're a bit more impressive because Cote was in his prime, if not past it. If I'm probably past it. And Dalloway, did Dalloway really ever hit his prime? The poor guy never really hit his stride. Well, moving on. UFC 227 allegedly, they've released their pay-per-view numbers. They allegedly did 300,000 pay-per-view buys, which is better than expected for that very top-heavy, Cejudo versus DJ for the flyweight belt, and TJ versus Cody, No Love Garbrandt for the bantamweight belt. The two pay-per-view wise, money wise, cash wise, least exciting fights when it comes to cash. So it did pretty good numbers. I mean, it's also the second best pay-per-view numbers for a bantamweight main event pay-per-view, just behind Dominic Cruz versus Uriah Faber 2, the first fight that they had in the UFC, which was clocked in at 100,000 pay-per-view buys at UFC 132. Cruz went on to dominate and win that fight, as well as the rubber match. If you don't remember, Faber handed Dominic his only loss before Cody did back in the WEC. I believe he caught him with a guillotine choke. Let's see, last two pieces we'll get into. Mighty Mouse DJ, poor guy just lost his belt. He's got some more bad news. He's out indefinitely due to a knee issue that we're not clear what exactly it is yet, but that makes the aforementioned TJ Cejudo fight all but official. That fight's gonna happen, people. I mean, the only thing stopping it was TJ fighting Dominic, and TJ wasn't keen on that because he was saying, hey, look, Dom was injured, and the second that someone he's beat me has the belt, he wants to come back and do the damn thing. He didn't want to give the fight up. But now Cejudo doesn't even have a dance partner for the immediate rematch with Mighty Mouse, which is the strongest argument against the fight, because the Mouse had won, 10 or 11 consecutive title defenses? I believe it was 10. Before dropping this 3-2 close decision that some people feel may or may not have been judged correctly. Last bit of news, as always, we like to incorporate one of our favorite podcasters, Brendan Schaub, and his opinions on our shows. And we do it only in a homage, loving way. We would never try to take a dime away from him or steal his ideas. It's just, he's always on the same page as me and my boy Muka, so I feel it's worth noting that he recently was making waves about how the UFC is completely fucked, how they're promoting Greg Hardy, a convicted domestic abuser, over Nick Newell. And this one's one of the few occasions where I disagree with Schaub. Whereas Nick Newell was put on the show, I don't think he should have been put on the show. I think he should have been given a contract. The guy has one fucking arm, nearly one arm. I mean, he's got a nub with some pinky fragments on it, and then an arm. And he still amassed a 14-1 record, and the only guy to knock him out was knockout artist Justin Gaethje. So, I mean, this was a guy who really should have just been given the opportunity to fight in the show. But I believe Schaub's argument was that Newell is the one who should be given the second shot instead of Hardy, who in his first fight won by a great knockout in the Contender Series. Wasn't given a contract, but was promised the second fight on the series, which was a roundabout way of saying that he was given a contract, but they wanted more ratings for the Contender Series. He had a second fight, knocked that motherfucker out as well. So they pretty much, they can either milk him for a third fight on the Contender Series, throw him another can, or they can put him in there. And hey, why the fuck not? Why not just get someone who's been touched by domestic abuse in their life, someone who's had to deal with that hell, and put him at the other end of the cage? Sort it out that way. Put some real killer in there against him. I mean, Greg Hardy's what? He's a light heavyweight, if not a heavyweight. I'm sorry, I've been slacking on the Contender Series. I believe he's a heavyweight. So why the fuck not just put him in there and just throw some killer at him? Even the guys down on their luck, the lower 10 guys, the 15 guys. I'm talking Travis Brown, Andre Arlovsky, any of these motherfuckers. Well, he'd probably clobber Andre. Ngannou needs a pick me up. Put Ngannou in there against Hardy. At this point, I feel like I might be mistaken. Hardy might not be. He might be a middleweight. I've been paying so little attention to the Contender Series. But send a killer in there in his first fight. Let's see if he hangs. I think that absolves him right there. As It's fucked up to say, but if he can hang with a killer when you send him in there to get slaughtered and he slaughters him, then I think we should reconsider the whole, oh, well, he may have done his time, but I still fucking hate him. Come on, people. Well, anyway, I think Newell and Hardy both should be part of it. Less spectacle, more fights. Come on, let's stop making such a big deal of this. Settled in cage. That's what it's for. Put the gloves on. Anyway, this has been the latest episode of the Blue Corner. I'm Mike, as always, one half of the Unknown Experts. Are you having a fun summer? I hope so. Stay tuned. Peace out. Bye.